Is that better? Make a few changes. Is that better? Please tell me if you can hear. Oh, Sheila said she couldn't hear either. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Valerie said she can't hear me. Valerie is in the UK. Linda, can you hear me now? Can you hear? Oh, Janice says yes. The waves. The waves. It is those internet waves. Who knows what's going to happen, right? That's how I feel. Sometimes I think it's so amazing what we can do, and yet so amazing when it doesn't work. Did y'all hear about the Amazon shut the internet down yesterday? That there was a glitch somewhere. I didn't get the details. I just know that it happened. And then maybe it affected us here. I don't know. I don't know. It was crazy. They said locally here, at least, that it affected schools and universities because they used a certain program that is backed up by Amazon and it wasn't there. Kids went in to take their exams, to file a paper, to do whatever they wanted to do in the university level. They couldn't do it. So their papers were late, or they didn't get to take the test, or something like that. Was that crazy? That is crazy. So I'm sorry you couldn't hear me in the beginning, but I think I made some adjustments and I think we're good now. Just take a deep breath. I started to say that we took a little jaunt this weekend, and so to me this is Monday because we didn't get home till late last night. We went to southern Utah. Now I live in a northern Utah valley up in the mountains. I love it. Well, when I say up in the mountains, I don't mean at the mountaintops. I mean, there's a valley and there's mountains all around us. So it's a mountain valley. And this morning, I believe it was 30 degrees when I woke up. They warned us to make sure that we had all of our outside pipes turned off and our sprinklers turned off and everything on the outside turned off, or we would have problems of bursting. So anyway, it's cold. But this weekend we went to southern Utah where it's not cold, which I think for one state to be that different is remarkable, because we're up here, we're cold. Down there, well, we're at like 4,500 feet. And as we drove down to southern Utah, we got up to almost 6,000 feet because we went up through Cedar City and those areas. There's some areas that are a little higher up. And then we went clear down to below 2,000 feet at the bottom of Utah. There's a big difference there. So we went from the green mountains and the snow-capped mountains and the fall leaves falling down to where there's just desert and cactus and nothing else. And surprisingly enough, this blossom of a St. George city kind of just pops up. And you think, where did this come from? Because there's really no water. They do have water, but it's just desert. And we have all the canyon lands down there. It is just such an extreme from that to this. It's really beautiful. Oh, Valerie said it did affect us there in the UK. Wow. Did it affect anyone else? Because I don't personally know that it affected me. My sons who were in filming, they said they saw a few changes. There's some things that they couldn't get into and some things that they've had to reboot this morning because it did not work. And Sandra says, hello from sunny and pretty St. Louis, Missouri. I love St. Louis. Boo, Jennifer. Good morning. I need to actually get the boo out because now it's Halloween time. Let me grab her. She sits here on my desk all the time. Boo. But now it's official. I can use it. So you don't have to just boo in January. We're booing in October, right? Boo, boo, boo. What can I say? Thanks for bringing that up, Jennifer. I don't know where that even came from, but when I found the sign and it went with what I'd said that one day, I thought, yeah, this is a keeper. We're gonna keep that around a little longer. All right, let me think. Okay, I have a challenge for you. Okay, I want you to take this challenge, and I want you to report back to me. Okay, this is not one of those just whatevers. You've got to do it. You've got to try it. You got to tell me how it worked for you. Okay, are you ready? Get your pencils out. No, you don't need to. It's not hard. But I want you to take the challenge. And after I tell you what the challenge is, sign in here and say, I'll take it, I'll take it, I'll take it. I want to see if you will do it. Because I'm going to check back with you, and I want you to check back with me. I want you to tell me how well it worked for you. All right? Okay, are you ready? No one's saying they're ready. So maybe you're not ready. Okay, this is hard, by the way. It's really hard to do. So if you take this challenge at least once, if you can do it one time, you got to do it more than once. You got to do it for a week. Can you do it for a week? We have until October. Today is the 21st. Wow. October's almost gone. I can't do this. I can't do it. So the 28th, I'm going to ask you next week how it went. You're all being so silent. You're not going to do it? All right. Your dominant hand, when you brush your teeth, you brush with your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I brush with my right hand. Sheila said I'm scared. Okay, not too scary. You brush with your right hand, right? You get all in those nooks and crannies and you rub it all off. All right, here's my challenge for a week, and I'm going to do it too, and it's hard. Brush with your other hand. You think it's easy. It sounds easy, right? You got two hands. You use them both interchangeably all the time. You don't write always with the other hand, but you do. You use your left hand if you're right-handed all the time. Okay, but I want you to see if you can brush your teeth with your left hand. Who's up for the challenge? I'm in. Say I'm in. If you're up, say I'm in. I got to see it. Somebody's got to be in with me. Hi, Alice. Can you brush with your... I think you're right-handed, Alice. Can you brush your teeth with your left hand? Anybody? I'm got no takers. Come on, somebody say, I can try it. Okay, Sandra, thank you. You're first. You're first. Okay. And we'll have... Linda says I'm in. Okay, two of you are in. Okay, that means that next week for all the... Sheila says, I've tried this before, so I'm not up for the stress. Okay, yeah, Ellis, you're right-handed. Brush your teeth for 1 week with your left hand. If you guys can do it for 1 week, next week I'll do a drawing for those that have done it. But you have to do it. You have to brush with your left hand or right hand, depends on which one you've got. Linda said, I'm left-handed. Well, then lucky you. You get to brush with your right hand. I know that's silly because it will be difficult. Valerie, she says, no problem. I'm left-handed, but I use both hands to brush my teeth. Really? I thought it was going to be so easy. I thought, I can do this. Not a problem. And when I read it, I said, I can do that. No, I can do this. I get in there. I can't brush. And so I ended up trying with, and I am going to do this. I might have to brush twice so that I get them clean with my right hand, but I will give it a good try. All right, so your non-dominant hand. If you're left-handed, you have to brush with your right hand. If you're right-handed, you have to brush with your left hand. Okay? Deal? And if you're watching this later, challenge is on. Sandra says, this sort of thing is supposed to be good for our brain health. Exactly right. It's supposed to light up both hemispheres when you brush with your left hand. So I'm going to try it. I've tried to write with my left hand sometimes when it really doesn't mean anything. If I'm doodling or something, I'll still try to write with my left hand. Do you know how much better you're going to be at everything if you can get your right brain to work too? I know it's crazy. I get the left and rights mixed up. It's that hard for me. Okay, I have a couple of things. Okay, challenge is on. I'm going to bring it up again. Actually, let me tell you what I got coming up. On November 8th, 7th, and 8th, I was going to bring my calendar over. I didn't. And I want to make sure I get the dates right. So let me grab it. I mean, I knew it right off the bat. But as I have to say it out loud, I think, oh, maybe I've got it wrong. Okay, yep, it is 7th and 8th. And November 7th and 8th, I'm going to be in Hokema, in their store in Hokema. And they are in Redding, California. So if you are near Hokema, and I know I've met many of you people there, and I just love it. I love it. And they have such a cute store in Reading, and the Hokemas are just totally delightful. If that's your store, you know how wonderful they are. So I'm going to be there on November 7th and 8th, and we are going to be doing Triumph and Applaud projects. We are going to do sergers. If you want to try a serger and you don't know if you like it, or if you just want to see what it's all about, there's your chance to try it before you buy it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to go back for a second. I'm going to come back to that. Valerie said, I swap hands as I'm brushing, the same as when I play tennis. I change hands as I'm playing. Wow. Wow. Valerie must be a Wonder Woman. Sheila says, okay, if I can back up the brushing with my right hand, I'll give it a go. My brain needs all the help it can get. Kelly says she's just popping in to say hello while I'm printing. Yeah, Kelly has a job. Kelly has to work. So I'm glad you're here, Kelly. And Kelly is not a chef. No, she is a chef, but that's not her daytime job. But boy, can she cook some stuff. Have you seen the stuff she cooks? Makes me want to. I've asked her to be my personal chef, and so far, I don't know. Janice says, will you be doing the same projects as last time in Hokemas? No, I am not. Actually, Janice, Valerie said I'm useless at tennis, though. Janice, Christine picked out the project she wanted to do. I have several different projects. So we are doing this on the Applaud. And this is a very simple and wonderful notebook cover. And this is my all-time favorite cover for a notebook. Easy to make, but we're going to do this with the Applaud. So if you want to do that one, that is great. We are going to, I don't have that one in here. Darn. Oh, I think it's over here. Hang on. We are going to do this on the Triumph, and this one is going to show you the different things that you can do on a Triumph. We've got flat lock stitches, flat lock wave, pin tuck. We've got the wave stitch. So the wave stitch right here is totally different than the flat lock wave in here. It's done differently, it's threaded differently, and I love both of them. We're also going to do piping, and this is all done on the Triumph. So those are the two projects we're doing at Hokemas coming up on November 7th and 8th. So if you want to join me there, I'd love it. If you would like to do some serger projects, and I'm going to highlight mostly the Applaud right now because I love the Applaud, totally love the Applaud. And I want you to know that if you have the Applaud, it is not just for serging. It is a serger, but if you have a sewing machine and you want to embellish your sewing projects, the Applaud will do it for you. It just enhances all of your sewing all the way around. Your sewing, your serging, and your embroidery. So let me show you some different things. I'm going to change cameras here. This is something that you can make completely on the Applaud. But look at all those stitches. We're going to talk about how to get these stitches in just a minute. And we even install a zipper right here. We made the belt loop. This is all done on the Applaud. So what is the Applaud? It's a decorative top cover stitch. That means it's laying down a serger stitch at the same time it is laying down threads in front of the needle to be sewn down. So they're not just willy-nilly flapping in the wind right there. They are sewn down as if they had gone through a needle. So there's one project. Here's another project. You can see all of these Applaud stitches. It was bound with the Applaud. It was stitched right here. And then we have more serger regular Triumph stitches in there. This one of my favorites. I love this. I didn't even bring the bag over. That is my favorite. So right here we've got all of these Applaud stitches. You can see that these are not going to snag. They are solid in there. They are solidly put down, stitched down with a needle, but yet they're decorative. So you would look at this and you'd say, well, where did she find that fabric? Well, it's not fabric. Well, it is fabric, but those are stitches on top of the fabric. So you can design and make your own fabric. And here is another one. This one I love. So there we've got the stitches that are sewn down in a wave and more Applaud stitches over here. So these are projects that can be done in an event. If you have a local store that sells baby lock and they want to have an event, just give them my name. I probably know them, and I would love to come to your store and do an event. Love it, love it, love it. And we did so many Applaud events last year, but boy, we've got the whole United States to cover. If you don't have an Applaud, these are my Applaud because I like to applaud the Applaud. I tell you, that is a machine so far out there that nobody else has anything that even compares with what our Applaud can do. So we're going to talk about the Applaud today. But if you have a store near you, either let them know that you want me to come. And I would love, if you want to sit down at that machine and try it out, go into your local Baby Lock dealer. Sit down and look at it work. I mean, I'm going to show you some things today, but look how it works and see how it works. You will be amazed. And know that you don't have to just use it with your serger. It is a serger, but that is beside the point. It's the fact that you're putting decorative stitches down on top of your project. And these can be threads that you can't use in any other machine. They can be a 4-weight thread, a 12-weight, a beautiful thread. You can even couch down yarns or threads you can't put through any needle at all. You will love it. If you haven't seen how it works, you just got to go in and see it, right? All right. Oh, Jennifer said she loves her Applaud. I don't know anybody who doesn't love their Applaud. Okay, so I did tell you I would tell you a little bit of the things that I found at the Houston Quilt Festival last week. Let me show them to you. I think I'll change back down to the other camera too. Now this right here is something that I was really impressed with. This is fabric. It's not really cork, but you could use it like cork. I'm going to use it like I would use cork. Cork is a fabric based or backed cork fabric, and this I think this would be in the same class as a cork, and I love it. But look at the different prints I have, and I probably bought 25 or 30 prints. Yes, I'm going to be making something out of them. In fact, I think I'll do a class and a project, but look at this. It is so fun. And I'm going to tell you where I got these. All right, let me pull in the other thing I bought at her booth because I loved it so much. I have always liked vinyl, but look at this. This is printed vinyl. And I know you've probably seen it before, but her combinations and the new things that they had, I loved. And who doesn't like a little chicken print, right? I don't know what I'm going to make out of this one. I don't know what I'm going to make, but I am definitely going to be making something. All right, here is the people's name. Let me scoot down on that. See if I can get down even closer. That might be as close as I can get, so I'm going to hold it up. They are called, and maybe you've heard of them, Glitter Bug Fairy, and they have such fun, wonderful prints. So if you can see their Facebook group right there, I'm sure that would take you to their website where you could purchase if you wanted to. Alice, what size are the cork-like squares? They aren't actually squares. It's a roll. So so I guess eventually it would be a square. Let me pull that out. Because I know you love your cork. And this is so soft and pliable. All right, they are squares when you pull it all the way out. Let me tell you how big it is. Okay, let me see if they're the same size, first of all. And they are pretty much the same size. Here I am moving everything around so I can get to the right spot. They are about 27 inches by 18. So they're a half yard wide, and I'm sure that you could buy it in any length that you want because they just cut them off. So if you want a bigger size, Alice, and you know, I thought of you when I saw these because I thought Alice does everything in cork. She is the cork queen right now, right? Right. Hey, Teresa, long time no see. I'm going to have to give you a call, girl. Any other questions? Oh, Sandra says, I really like my Applaud. I'm still learning how to use it, though. You know what? I think anytime we get a machine, don't you think that's an ongoing process? We're always learning something new. Even though you'll have your machine for years, you'll stumble on something. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Or a new way to do it. In fact, let me pull this one back out. This right here, we have the wave stitch. And it was some, if you wanted to do, heck, I'm stumbling on my words. I want to say this right. If you wanted to do the flat lock wave, according to the book, it doesn't exist. Nobody tells you about the flat lock wave. It was educators in Australia that was doing the wave stitch and the flat lock stitch and thought, I wonder if I can do a flat lock wave. And so they came up with it. It's not printed in any of the manuals or the inspiration guide. It is taught to you through educators, which we are very happy to show you how to do it because it is so fun. So where was I going with that? I don't remember. I don't remember what question even prompted that. Oh, from your applaud. Oh, the fact that you will learn things about your machine. I mean, these educators had this, decided to do that, tried it, and it worked great. So you're going to have your machine forever and say, well, now, could I do that? Let me try this. Let me push the boundaries just a little bit. When you start testing those boundaries and checking the fence line, you're going to learn how to do things that nobody could even teach you. So you're never going to learn everything about your machine because there's always more stuff to learn. That's what's so cool about it. And we grow into our machines and they grow with us. And so that's what I love about them. Are there any other questions about anything I've shared with you so far that I can embellish on a little bit? Oh, Alice's are good for purses. Yep, I'm going to be making some. I am going to be doing it. I am so excited. All right, it looks like we don't have any more questions or comments that I need to address. Except for Valerie says she's useless at tennis. I kind of doubt that. If you can use both hands, you are doing great. All right, so we're going to talk about the applaud for just a few minutes because I had a lot of questions. And it seems I just finished the Houston Quilt Festival. We did demo the applaud a lot. People love it. And I think they should love it. Why not? What's not to love, right? But there were questions about it. And some people were saying, oh, I'm afraid to use this machine because it looks so different from my sewing machine. It does look different. But that's the beauty of it. You can do so much different. I said that wrong. So many different things. So many different things. So I have this threaded up for a 3-thread cover stitch. That means I'm using 3 needles. And the width of your stitch is completely dependent on this machine by how many needles you have in. So I don't have a width knob. That only comes into play when you're using your overlock stitches. And right here, I'm just using the cover stitches. So the width is dependent on how many needles you have in. If I have 3 needles, I have a wider stitch. 2 needles, narrow. In fact, that would be called the narrow cover stitch. Then the 1 needle is just a chain stitch. And that stitch is more or less just a sewing stitch, a straight line sewing stitch. So let's talk a little bit more about it. I've got this thread up for my cover stitch, my triple cover stitch, and then I have 2 more. I'm going to try and move you without making you sick. Let's see if we can do it. I have 2 more places right back here where I can put 2 more cones. So I've got my 4 cones over here, and I've got 2 more that I can put right here. I have actually taken off, I don't have one here to show you, my cone holder. I don't usually use them on these spindles right here because I'm going to be using smaller thread like this. And you can put your foam pieces on there. I like to put mine down as far as I can. So I just take everything off because I like to, I do okay with it that way. And it's going to be thread through here, and it will once again, and you won't be able to see this, it'll go up through my telescoping thread guide at the top. And there are brushes up there because oftentimes the thread we're using in these right here will be more linty and maybe just need a little bit more control. There are no tension dials that go with your applaud wiper threads. There are no tension dials. And there are no, there's no control. There's just guides. Over here, we have tension discs in here that will come together, that will thread your thread through exactly how it needs to be. But on the wiper threads, all we need to do is to focus them in the right direction, going to the right place. So first of all, I'm going to clean out my threads right here to get them out of the way because we're going to thread it up and we're going to stitch some things out. So you can see my wipers are going back and forth. I'm going to take you in as far as I can get you. maybe make you all sick. And then I'll move my machine to where you can see it better. All right, you can see those wipers are going back and forth. Do you see that? That's the beauty of this stitch. Okay, I've got some. All right, you can see that I had some threads in there right there, but I cut them right here at the nose, so they didn't go very far. And what resulted is all I had was just the cover stitch. I can also disengage my wipers back there. See that little guy I pulled down? Let me pull him over here. So I got this right here. I can put that up. I can put it down. You don't even know it's there, but if I put it down, I can see it. Definitely I can see it, and that means that my wipers are not engaged. So when I stitch down, they are not moving. Do you see that? They are not moving. But I get a beautiful cover stitch, a beautiful cover stitch. All right, but now I want to thread my wipers up. I want to have them up because I'm going to use them. See how they moved? I'm going to put them up. I'm going to put my little dial up because I want to use my wiper threads. If you have any questions, I'll try to monitor the comments over here, and we'll do that in just a minute. I'll answer your questions, whatever you might have. All right, so right here I have my wiper foot. Now, so that you know and understand what that wiper foot is all about, it is a whole combination foot right here. I mean, it's the thing that fits into my machine. And the reason you can't like take this to the Triumph or any other Euphoria, because the Euphoria is basically this machine with the wiper foot. This foot cannot be put on any other machine. It's specifically made for this machine. It has a mechanism up in here that makes this work. So you can't take it to any other machine and use it. Because some people said, well, can I just buy the foot and put it on my Triumph? No, you can't. It is just for this machine. It is specially made for this machine. So I can take it off, and I don't have the other foot. Oh, I do. I can take it off. It also comes with this foot right here. So this is the first time you'll ever see a serger come with another foot, unless you buy a foot kit. It does come with the regular cover stitch foot. I actually have only put it on once, and I only put it on just to see if I could take this one off and put that one on. That was it. I didn't leave that one on. If you're never going to use the wiper system, then maybe you want to take it off. But if you bought the Applaud, why wouldn't you want to use the wiper system all the time? In fact, I have my Triumph sitting next to my Applaud. I use them interchangeably, constantly. If I'm doing a project, I've got my Applaud set up for wipers all the time. And I have my Triumph set up for either the overlock or the cover stitches. In fact, I use this with my sewing machine also. So don't think that this is just for sergers. It is not. It is going to put a beautiful stitch down, plus you're going to have all those decorative threads up there. All right, so here I have some glittery orange thread right here. Cool thread. And I have some glittery yellow. I really like the glitter. I just think it really shows up well. So these are heavier threads. I believe these are 12 weight. If you're going to use 2 different weights of thread, which you can, then make sure you put your heavier weight thread in your left wiper. Reason being is that the left wiper is going to go over the top of the right wiper. That's where it goes back and forth at. If you can kind of see that, let me put my foot down. I'll turn my hand wheel here. My left wiper is higher than my right wiper, and it will go over the top of my right wiper. So if you're going to use a heavier thread only, or even just one thread in your wiper, which you can do, then put it in your left one. It just works better that way. And if you got a heavier thread, put it in your left one. All right, so if I'm going to use these heavy threads, I have a habit now of just using the thread nets on my wiper threads all the time. Even if I'm not sure if I really need it on there, but it just makes that I don't have to worry about it because I am using heavier threads, right? And sometimes they're a little crazy to put on and to get through those wiper nose, but I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, I'm going to put the thread net on my thread. and I'm going to put it back there on my spool holder. I'm going to do the same thing with my yellow. And once again, I'm going to be using a thread net because even though it may not pull off badly, but you know, why not be safe than sorry, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put, and what I've done is I have the really long thread nets. I'm just going to fold them over, and I've got my fold at the top, and now that's going to come out nicely. I'm going to put it up there on my, now for just a sec you won't really see what I'm doing, but I'm putting it up through my telescoping thread guides up here. And like I say, there's fuzzy brushes up there that kind of hold and control those threads a little bit. And it will kind of help some of that fuzz to not be there. I've got my thicker thread in my left one. Let me back you out just a little bit. Yep, come on, girl. All right, now I'm going to put this one. This right here is a guide. That's all it is. It's just a guide. If you can't snap it in to the guide, or if you feel like there's trouble pulling it through the guide, then you do have a choice to put it through the alternate. And I have some fuzz on the end of my thread. You can put through the alternate thread guide right there. That works. But if I can, I'm usually going to put it right in, snap it in. It's going to go underneath, up and over, and down. I'm going to put it through this little chute right there. And then I want my foot up. And this seems really tight up in there, so I might have to change that. I'm going to put it through the nose of my foot right there. I want a little bit out there. This is probably the only time I've used my tweezers with my serger, even though it comes with tweezers. Okay, that one threads nicely. I'm going to get my yellow one. This one's a thinner one. Same place I'm going to thread it, in my little guide down there, under that, up and over, and then in that chute right there. And then once again, it's going to go through the nose of my foot. Now this one's got a little fuzzy thing on the end. I'll tell you a couple of ways that I have decided to handle that. Let me see if I have my, I have put it away. You can get the wax that you use when you're doing handwork. There's that waxy stuff you can put on the ends of, oh, I know where I put it. Hang on a sec. There's that waxy stuff you can put on the ends of your thread when you're doing hand embroidery. And that's beeswax, and that's really nice to calm down these ends if you can't get it in the hole. But I also found this. And these are floss threaders. And I believe kids use them a lot when they have braces. So maybe you're familiar with what those are. And I'm opening it right now. It doesn't want to open. Open, open, open. Boy, this was a tough package. I just barely bought them because I couldn't find the ones I already had. Paula says, I like my applaud. I watched your tutorial and that was excellent. Well, thank you, Paula. Yes, I do have a class on this. So if you have an applaud and you want the details on how to use your applaud, everything about your applaud, I do have a class on it, and I can't get this package open. I might have to go get my pliers out. No, there we go. Okay, it's these right here. So you've probably seen those. I mean, have you seen them? I don't know. I can't even get the package open. Maybe I'm no good at this. There I go. All right, I'm going to pull one out. So if you have a hard time threading your needle, or excuse me, your wiper, then this is a good thing to have. And it took me forever to get it out of that package, so darn. I got it through though. Okay, I didn't even point out the one thing that you need to do. You need to put your needle up, needle down, and make sure those wiper arms are all the way open. So you can see there's 4 different settings. So I'm going to show you this one point. This one looks like it's open. Let me take you way in there. It looks like it's open. It's not. Okay, I'm going to show while you're in there close. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, focus, focus, focus. Come on. Maybe I'm too close to focus. Oh, close your eyes for a minute, everybody. Close your eyes. I'm going to have to pull out. I don't want you to get sick. Come on. It needs to have something to focus to. Okay, so keep your eyes closed. I'll tell you when to open them. Don't open them yet. Okay, there we got a good focus. That might be as close as I can focus at. I don't want to make us all sick. Okay, I want to show you that there's 4 different settings that you can have your wipers. So that one is wide open. This one is closed, because you see they've crossed over each other. And this one is still crossed. This one is almost open. And that one is open. So make sure you have them all the way open before you start to thread them. And I like to thread with my foot up so I can actually get a hold of that thread under there. I'm going to get my tweezers because I do use my tweezers here. And this one, normally what I would be the one that would have the fuzzy end because it's such a thick thread. But I think I can make this one go through. If you can't, in fact, I'm going to use this one just for kicks. What's difficult for me is the angle because the camera needs to be there. So you can see how I can put that through easily. The threader, and now all I have to do is, come on girl, hang on, is put this down in the loop. And this one was not hard to thread, but I'm just going to use a threader just to show you how it works. I'm going to put it in the loop, and then I'm going to pull it through. It was easier just to thread this one. Okay, it's in. Oh, but you know what? In all that process, it didn't go through the nose. So you got to have it in the nose. If ever you are stitching along and you realize, well, my thread is ugly, it's not pretty there, then notice it. Did you remember to put it through the nose? Because it's got to be in that nose. Okay, so that one over there is not hard to thread. The one that I have trouble with is this one on this side. This is the time I use my tweezers. Once again, it's got to go in the nose. All of those guides that you put it through is what creates the tension that it needs. All right, it's through the nose, and now I'm going to put it through my other wiper. This is my right wiper. And see, when I put it down, it goes under the foot, which is not where I want it to be. That's where I use my tweezers. And I can pull it out. If you have trouble with a fuzzy thread, make sure that you get one of these little guys right here. They really do look nice. They'll do it really nice. Okay, I'm going to put all that away. And now I've got it threaded. I can actually sew. So I want to make sure that I don't get any threads. You notice how those wipers go back and forth? If you get thread caught on those wipers, then it is going to jam up the machine, and you don't want to have that happen. So I've got fuzzy things sitting up here on my piece that I've already sewn. I'm going to cut those off because I don't want to have them anywhere near my wipers. All right, so I'm going to come down here, go in my wipers, and now to take my first few steps, if I put these straight back, they wouldn't wipe down nicely. If I put them straight up, they're not going to be. So what I want is at an angle backwards. I don't want to pull on them tightly. I just want to gently hold them. And notice it's going to start right off, and it's good. When I get a little ways out there, I'm going to trim those off because, like I said, I don't want anything to come in contact with my wipers. And there I go. Look at that stitch. Is that gorgeous? All right, let's go back over here where I can see a little bit better and it won't be all crazy for you. Here we are, and there is now those threads laid down. So you can see the different variety that you can get with the different stitches you want to put in. You can have 1 needle, 2 needle, 3 needles. You can have 1 wiper or 2 wipers. It doesn't even matter. In fact, let me go back over there. I'm going to cut my yellow wiper. Okay, so I'm going to separate that right in there. I'm going to cut that one out. All I have to do is cut it. I can pull it out if I want. I can leave it dangling. It doesn't really even matter. All right, so this is the difference in 1 wipers and 2 wipers. Notice how my thread is right over there wanting to get caught. I'm going to hold it out of the way. All right, do you see a difference? There is a bit of a difference. I'm going to come up here. I'm having focus trouble this morning, aren't I? All right, so right here I have two wipers in there. I've got a yellow and an orange, and over here I just have one wiper. So you could go either way. You could have one needle, two needles, three needles. It wouldn't even matter. All right, do you have any questions on the applaud? Or tell me what you've done with your applaud that was fun. Several of you said you love your applaud. I do too. So what have you done that's different that maybe you could tell us about? I would like to hear that. All right, Carla says, wipers open, needles up to thread the wipers. Yep, the needles have to, oh, yeah, it really doesn't matter on, yeah, you've got to have that, the wipers open. Let me do this for a second. Yep, the needles are going to be open when you do. I've never paid attention to where the needles are because I'm not using the needles, but yep, they are up. But that's not the important part. The important part is to have those wipers all the way open. So you've got 4 different places, and with your needles up doesn't necessarily mean your wipers are open. Your needles will be up, but your wipers need to be open. That's the most important part. And I put my foot up to thread my wipers only because it gives me more space under there to pull that wiper thread through. And that's the only reason I raise my foot. If you want to have your foot down, you can have your foot down. In fact, let me show you one more thing over here. If you are using your different wiper inserts that you can get for your applaud, let me show. I'm going to cut this, move it out of the way, get it out of my way there. So right here, there is a wiper insert, and I want my foot down to move this in and out. So this right here is the one that comes with your machine, but you need to have the foot down to slide it in and out. You don't even realize that it's there, but it's a little plastic piece. It guides your wiper threads. So it doesn't actually guide your wiper threads. It's going to guide if you're doing couching. So you're changing this right here, this wiper insert. You can get a couching foot, a couching insert. You can get a stitch in the ditch insert. There are different inserts that you can get for the foot. So if you don't have those, it might be something to consider because they are pretty cool. All right, I'm ready to answer any questions. Do you have any questions? That was a good question though, Carla. I like that. Paula says the class was so complete and easy to follow. Paula, you're so nice. Thank you so much. So yes, in fact, I'll put a link to the class after I finish this. And if you have an applaud and you want to take that class, there's even a project at the end. So you can make a project with your applaud with all the things you learned in the class. Whoa, I think my tongue has been very thick today. I can't even talk. I must be really tired. That's a long drive. I was in Texas, last week. And Texas is a big state, so it would take you weeks to drive through it, right? Not really literally weeks. Well, Utah is about almost an 8-hour drive from the top of Utah to the very bottom of Utah. It's 7 point something. And that's a lot of driving, and it's a lot of open space. In fact, there was a valley, because I thought, well, how far is this valley? And so I started clocking the valleys that I would drive through, and there were valleys of nothing. I mean, I live in a small town. I grew up in a small town. In fact, has anybody seen Napoleon Dynamite, the movie? Have you seen it? I haven't. But it was filmed in my high school, just so you know. Anyway, so I grew up in a small town. I live in a small town, but it's getting bigger. People are starting to move in Logan area, Cache Valley is getting bigger and bigger. Well, I drove through some spots to go to southern Utah where there's nobody. There's nobody for miles. I'm thinking, they talk about world population where we can't handle all the population. Well, then move to some of those places because there's nobody there. In fact, some of the valleys, I'd come up into a valley, not a deep valley, but I could see from this side to the other side. I think, how far is that? And so I started clocking. One valley was 30 miles long, just the valley from one set of hills to the other set. I could see that far. I could see exactly where I was driving to. and others were, 10, 20 miles, but 30-mile valley with nothing in it but a little sagebrush and a little cactus. That's all it was. Will I please repeat the dates set in November, the November dates for Hokema? Sandra, they are November 7th and 8th. That's a Friday and a Saturday, and one day we'll spend completely on the Applaud, and the next day we'll play it on the Triumph. We'll do both machines, and you will sit at your machine for the entire event. So like the day that you do your Triumph event, we're going to have you changing needles. I want you, when you leave this class, I want you to know and love your Applaud. And I want you to be able to know how to do it when you get home. And yes, we do sell a lot of machines at the events. It's a machine sales class. And we'll be talking about all the wonderful things these machines will do. And on the Applaud class, let's see, do I have, yep, I do have it. I threw it clear over there. Didn't know where it went. You're going to learn to applique. You'll connect fabrics right here. You'll do the construction stitches all on your Applaud. So you will have fun and you will learn and you will go home with your Applaud and a Triumph, whatever you want to use when you go home, and you're going to love them. And the more you use them, the more you learn about them. Remember, I tell this analogy all the time. You got your crock pot and your Instapot. So the crock pot really is your sewing because it takes a little longer. You have to do it a certain way. And the Instapot is your serger. It does things faster. It puts more thread down, but yet the recipes have to be, the same recipe has to be written differently for each project because you're going to do them different. So you can take any project, like any food recipe, from a crock pot and figure out how to do it in Instapot or vice versa. Same thing. You can do it and you will love it. You will totally love it. All right, I've covered a lot of things today. Okay, what are we going to do this week? We're going to brush our teeth with the opposite hand, and it's going to be hard. And you're going to be brushing and thinking, oh, I can't do this. And I didn't feel like I got them very clean with my left hand, so I had to brush them again. But I'm doing it. I am practicing, and I'm going to do it from right now for a week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, I want you to do it too. I only had 2 people that said I'll try. But if you want to be in the drawing next week, that means that those two people will probably win. Okay? If you want to be in the drawing next week, you've got to say, I'll try, and next week you got to tell me how it went. So that means you have to watch next week, and you've got to tell me that you did it. And then when I draw the names, you have to notify me within 24 hours. That's how it works. I know, take a deep breath. Well, we've been going on for about an hour now. Way too long, right? You need to get back to work. If you have any more questions, and the reason I even talked about the Applaud today was questions that people had, and I wanted to go over it. I want you to have your machines and love your machines, and I want you to use them. There's nothing worse than buying something and putting it in a closet and never using it. I have things that I did that with. I was looking for something the other day, and I opened a drawer, and I thought, oh, I forgot I bought this. I still haven't used it. I've had it for a year and a half. I don't even know what it is. I bought it. I don't know. It's a little machine. I'll have to figure it out one day and I'll show it to you. But you don't want to buy it and put it in a closet, especially when you're spending this kind of money on it. You want to use it and love it and make your sewing even better, because that's what we need to do, right? We want our sewing to be even better than it was yesterday. We're going to get better and better every day. And when you can add these cute little touches to it, it makes it yours. It makes it you. And that's what it's all about, right? So if you watch this later, please make a comment so I know you were here. And if you're going to brush your teeth backward, I'm going to say backwards because that feels backwards to me. Say, I'll do it. And then next week, you got to come on and say, I've done it. I did it. Maybe you didn't succeed nicely with it. Maybe you're not going to brush your teeth with your left hand anymore, but I want you to try it for a week. Oh, that's going to be hard. I'm sitting here cringing because I think, how am I going to do that? You got to do it. You got to do it. Okay? All right. Take a deep breath and march on. It's another day. It's another beautiful Tuesday. All right. I will catch you guys later on, and make your comments, please. I love it. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.